Hi, hello, it's Kat. I just realized that I look like exceptionally fancy today. And literally all we're doing is going over the like baby makes and like plans for my best friend. I think that my hair down is gonna really bother me. So we're gonna throw this up really quickly. What it is that I wanted to wear this really cute and comfy dress, and then I was cold. And I needed like something, and I'm like, oh well, I'm filming like a podcast craft cast episode, so I should like wear one of my makes, and like this is the one that I chose to match, but like it doesn't want to stay on me, and it's like mostly whole, so I'm like, is this really gonna keep you warm? Anyway, okay, so my best friend is having a baby in September. My best friend is goth, like AF, very goth. So I've decided that all of the things I'm gonna make for the baby, for the first little bit, are going to be like very goth or very muchly my colors. Which is something we'll see here in a minute or six. Actually, not really, not in the finished objects section, but when we get to the like yarn that I have set aside. And one of my whips is also very obviously like my colors. So the first one, this is the Zooty Owl Easy Baby cardigan. That cardigan is written for DK weight, and I believe it's a 3 to 6 month size. This one I made with worsted weight, and I used a larger hook than her pattern calls for. You'll also notice the edging isn't done. I ran out of yarn, so I have to order more. Because if you watched the main episode of the craft cast, you'll notice that this is the exact same yarns as my little granny square like slip over. I need some water. So I joined all of the granny squares together for that slip over and was like, nice, this is finished, I can make the baby thing now. So I made the baby thing, and then this is actually 4 rows shorter, so like 2 inches shorter than what, I don't know if 4 rows equals 2 inches in the original gauge, but about 2 inches in this gauge, shorter than what it was supposed to, and doesn't have the ribbing, or not the ribbing, the like button bands edging and all of that. And also my little granny square slip over doesn't have any edging on it. So I just need to buy more of the Hobie Portobello that this black is. The blue, green, and orange stripes here are all Noro Matsuri. This one's actually a purple, but the point in the skein, the thread that is purple is a very light purple, and all of the other fiber that's with the thread is very blue. And it's kind of the case through all of the pieces of that yarn that I used here are. But yeah, no, I actually really liked this one. I thought it was very easy. I will admit that I don't think I did the yoke increases the same way that she did, but like it worked out in the end. I had the same number of stitches and all of that. I think for this I'm probably gonna try and find some like star-shaped or like sparkly buttons. I don't know. This just feels very glitz, very glamour, very needs a touch. And also the fact that like theoretically this could have been a cardigan for me. Like the yoke was the same size as like cardigans I've self-drafted for myself, and I find that very funny. So there's that. Move this notebook around. And then this was originally intended to be a sleeper like snuggle sack kind of thing, and then I ran out of yarn, so now it's just kind of like a little pullover kind of thing. This closes with snaps. There's 3 of them all down here. I Used what snaps I had on hand in stash. This does actually split down a very significant amount because originally I was intending this to be like you put the baby in from the top kind of item. Because I feel like a snuggle sack where you put the baby in from the bottom just sounds like a recipe for disaster. So I used snaps from stash, and I wish I had had bigger ones because I feel like these ones are really small for what it is. I didn't put one at the top because I was kind of over sewing snaps on, and I thought it would be cute if I like blocked it and made them fold down, or even like tacked them down with some black or red thread. This shawl is not going to stay on me. Much annoyance. So this is, honestly, I don't really know what this yarn is because the main yarn, it's a chunky, and I think it is Lion Brand Wool Ease, or like the one that's only a little bit wool but it's chunky. I think that one's Wool Ease. It looks very familiar, but actually I thrifted a scarf, and it was I think it was about 2 skeins of this black yarn, and I thrifted a scarf, and I unraveled it and made this. And then this little red edging was a Loops and Threads yarn that was comparable to that one Lion Brand that's like mostly acrylic with a little bit of wool. And I had knit either my dad or my brother a hat in this a couple years back. So, little sweater thing. It fell on the ground. Then we have the first blanket. So this is a moss stitch corner to corner blanket with a moss stitch border as well. I haven't measured it, but it's nice and big. It's very decently sized. Like it covers my whole like belly button down to toes. So this is made out of Loops and Threads Home Chenille, and I believe it was the Home Chenille Slim. And it's green, and this one's called Kombu, and then the black is just black. I really loved this, and I love the way it feels. It's also moss stitch, or like linen, the crochet linen stitch, which is my very favorite like stitch. So it's the single crochet one, chain one, etc. But on a like corner to corner diagonal. So this was 2 skeins of the Kombu color and 1 skein of the black color. One thing that I would do differently if I make this again, or if I were to make this again, you know, advice to you if you want to make similar. I just went with the hook size that was recommended on the ball band of this yarn. I would go one hook size down from that. And then when I added the border on, I did 1 stitch for every row. And the black is a little bit ripply. The like black border is a little ripply. So either do like 2 stitches for every 3 rows kind of thing, or go down another hook size when you go to do the border. I feel like one of those 2 would fix the ripply problem. I'm not super mad about it being ripply because the green color is called kombu, which is a type of seaweed, and I just feel like the black edging being kind of ripply mimics the rippliness of seaweed. So there's that. And then we get to this hopefully impressive pile, and all of this is made from a single Caron 1 pound. And I still actually have some of it, and I'm in the process of making another sweater from that at least, and potentially another hat. So sweater 1 out of the Caron. So this is the Tin Can Knits Harvest in the 6 to 12 month size. I have realized now that I should probably also make the 0 to 3 month size of some of these. I am very afraid of making the smallest size listed in baby patterns because I'm afraid that it's going to be very small and like not going to be usable at all. Like, you're gonna get like 2 days of wearing it. But the baby comes out in September, which means that because they're in Washington, it's already gonna be like, there might be a couple of really hot days while the baby is like brand new, but like it's mostly going to be really cold days. And then October, the temperatures like tank in October most of the time. Like, I've had snow on Halloween before. That's one of those, like, Washington State is one of those places where like you have to wear regular clothes underneath your cheap ass Halloween costumes, so you might as well make your own costume out of regular clothes. Besides the point. So this is the 6 to 12 months size, so it might be cutely oversized for its first winter, but it'll probably, unless the baby turns out to be way small, it's probably not going to be big enough for their second winter and their first full fall, you know? Or, well, actually, no. The first day of fall is in the middle, is like the middle end of September, so it's going to be their second fall and winter. Anyway, so Harvest cardigan. It has garter bands everywhere, and you start by knitting the back. You start by actually knitting the back of the shawl collar here. Like, you knit like this much of it, I think, something around there. And then you pick up along here. And I don't know. It's a really nice construction, and it's very similar to the water bearer. Which gives me more confidence for how the water bearer is constructed for myself, that this was very simple. But again, this baby. And all of the tin can knits, all of the patterns for the baby. Oh, that was the dryer going off. All of the knits for the baby are free patterns right now, or I made the pattern. So like the blanket, like I looked up a tutorial on how to do the moss stitch corner to corner. The like snuggle sack with the chunky yarn, I went to the Craft Yarn Council's like sizing charts and just made it to measurement. The Zooty Owl is a blog post. Tin Can Knits Simple Collection. And this is also Tin Can Knits Simple Collection. This is the baby size of the Barley. Barley is the hat, yep. So there's a garter stitch section there. I've got a little pom-pom. I bought a pack of 16 of these off Amazon, 16 black pom-poms. So every single baby hat is going to have pom-poms. For a second I thought about putting pom-poms on the corners of this. Then first time debuting the new little sock blockers. These are the baby size Rye, so the socks from the Simple Collection. So this is the garter panel across the top of the foot. I did actually knit these slightly longer than the pattern suggested to, but like hilariously enough, it almost seems like I knit them kind of short for like what the blocker wanted me to knit. Because the blocker is like this, but then I put the heel down like this, and it's like this. And I don't know if that's like the angle of the knitting or something, because if I pull it up, it aligns, but then it's like weirdly diagonal. Either way, socks. Then this is not from the Simple Collection. This is called Adaptation, and it's a soaker pattern, again free, and this one's a free Ravelry download. This is their small size. I feel like the one, I enjoyed it, it was very fast. I don't like the way I seamed it, but I just whip stitched it in the back loops, and she does suggest mattress stitching it, but she also suggests doing a slipped edge. And I'm like not very good at doing the mattress stitch to begin with, and then the slipped edge actually makes it more difficult for me to do mattress stitching. So I just whipped it with the back loop only, and like it almost looks decorative, so I'm just gonna leave it. The other problem I have with this is the leg ribbing. They like flare out. She tells you to pick up with the larger needle, so the needle you knit the garter with rather than the needle you knit the waistband with. And I just don't love it. I also did a sewn bind off that's supposed to mimic the look of a long tail cast on, because you knit this flat from the back around to the front. So I did that both on the top of the front and then also at the bottom of the legs, because it's all going to be showing, and I just don't love it. But also, this looks huge to me, and this is their small size, so I think at some point I will be going back in and knitting the newborn size. Oh god, that was a very violent hiccup. Like, I felt all of my organs moving. So yeah, I'll probably be knitting another one of those. Maybe, maybe not in the black. I will probably be buying another Caron 1 pound, because I don't know, like, people who don't like it, it's like, it's a very soft acrylic yarn. Like, if you don't like it because it's acrylic, I get it. Like, some people just don't like acrylic, and that's understandable. But like, if you like acrylic and you don't think this is a soft acrylic, you probably like the Simply Soft, and you probably like Vanna's Choice. And I think that those are way too shiny and way too slick. And you know what? We can coexist and live together. Okay, anyway, so these are some little mittens. That's the seam. And that's the seam on this one. They're knit flat. This is the preemie size, but the pattern was initially written for DK weight. So this is worsted. So they did come out bigger than that. I think I might also knit the size that they call the newborn and just get the next size up. I thought about knitting the little I-cord to connect the two of them, and then I was like, what if the baby gets tangled up in that? And then didn't, because like the idea of that scared the shit out of me. So now that's the whole finished pile. So that's a good amount of things right now, like, honestly. But I have 2 more rather large tote bags full of yarn to make more things, because I love making baby items. They're so fun and so small, and they're finished so quickly. Like, I literally did this in a 1-hour episode of some random ass true crime TV show. Like, I don't even, you know what? I don't even think it took me the whole episode. Because I think I actually did both of these in one episode. Anyway, very quick. Ooh, I just kicked the like crate y'all are on. Okay, so now we're on to the whips of the baby items. So we have the rest of the Caron 1 pound and the first, I don't know, what is that, inch and a half of garter stitch for a macaron. That one's also written in DK, so I'm making the, I believe, the 0 to 3 month size. Again, maybe I should have made the newborn size to get the 0 to 3 month size. I'm not really caring all that much when it comes to like gauge and stuff, because if it fits the baby, it fits the baby. If it doesn't fit the baby, it doesn't fit the baby. And either someone else will have a smaller baby and they can have it, or the baby will get bigger and grow into it. That's kind of where I'm living. Oh gosh, I've talked a lot today. So, first few inches. I've yet to decide what the contrast color for the black macaron is. But I have a purple, a pink, a blue, and a multicolored, and I don't seem to have the blue over. Oh yes, I was using it in a project for the wife, because I wasn't going to use all of it for the baby. So let me just grab that really quick. Okay, so this is the blue. This is Craft Smart's Value yarn. And this is the colorway Reef. So that's the blue I bought. For the baby. Then I bought Craft Smart Value in purple. And also in raspberry. I then also bought the Craft Smart the Craftsmart Value Multi in Orchid Mist. Oh no, Orchard Mist. I feel like Orchid Mist makes more sense to me, but it's a purple pink blue mix with at least 3 shades of purple. Anyway, so I think the black one might wind up being the pink one, just because I feel like that's a fantastic contrast. So if you haven't knit the macaron yet, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's knit flat and seamed, and you do a 3 needle bind off across the top. But the really cool thing is that like across the top of the chest, I believe the whole sleeve, or is it just the top of the sleeve? Cannot recall. You do a contrast color. And I almost want to figure out how to like size up this idea, because I feel like it'd be a really cute like adult one if they haven't already done that. So I think I'll do the pink for the black one. But then we move on to the second blanket I have going, which is a star-shaped crochet blanket. And this was a Bernat pattern that I got off of Your Inspirations. Yep. And I am using the Loops and Threads Impressions in the colorway Amethyst. This is the second skein I've put into this, and then I'm just using random Stash Black acrylics. This is a 5 weight and these are 4 weights, but it seems to be evening out pretty well with the hook that I'm using, which is a 6mm. So that is the whips there. And that blanket, I'm just gonna go until I run out of yarn. Like, I'm not gonna go to any particular measurement. It's just until I run out of the yarn to do it. Stuck on everything. So then, we come over here to this bag that we had just a second ago. So you already saw all of these that I bought. Then I have some more Loops and Thread Impeccable that is going absolutely everywhere. Oh, this one's really seen better days, huh? So this one is Loops and Threads Impeccable Charcoal Tweed. So it is a black with rainbow speckles. And I made, actually, yeah, if you watched the Yule video about the maiden making gifts, I believe is what I called it, I showed you the Tin Can Knits Gothic lace cowl knit out of this. I still plan on knitting at least gloves for my friend, but actually it's the same friend who is now having a baby. So I thought it would be really cute to knit something or crochet something for the baby with the same yarn. Potentially what I'm going to do is actually put the Gothic lace pattern on like the body of like a cardigan or a sweater or something. It might be fun. Then we have the gray Karen 1 pound, which I plan on doing about basically the exact same thing I've done with the black one, except instead of the Harvest cardigan, I want to do the flax sweater. Then I bought, oh, one of them ran away. I bought 2 of these, and I'm regretting my decision to only buy 2. I feel like I should have bought a lot more. Of the Patton's Croy Classic Wool I cannot talk. The Patton's Croy Classic Wool Worsted in the color black. And I bought 2 of them. And I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to make with them while I was in the store. I just knew that I wanted to make some items that were wool as well, because I know that this particular friend of mine does appreciate natural fibers and does also know how to care for natural fibers, and specifically wool fibers that will felt. And then early on, like at some point in time in the first week or so of March, I went to the thrift store and the thrift store had like 3 of the really big Rubbermaid totes full of yarn. So I think it was just somebody passed and their family donated their entire stash to the thrift store, just in the totes and everything. And I went through and I grabbed everything that was wool blend, mohair, or cotton out of it. And yeah, got a lot of yarn. Mildly insane amount of yarn. And I got this, which I have actually a green one of this that I was using in a different one. So if you watched the most recent podcast episode, I believe that was 3, I showed you the green in a project. I decided not to reserve the green for the baby because it wasn't jewel tone enough. Basically what I'm trying to do with the baby is black, white, gray, and then the jewel tone version of the rainbow. So I have this blue to go with that. And what I was thinking was of figuring out how to apply a sort of drippy motif across the chest and the arms of a sweater. I was thinking about doing it in blue first because I felt like that would be less traumatizing to the people than doing it in red, which was my initial idea. And I was gonna call it the baby beheading sweater. Anyway, I think I still might do that. Because I feel like the friend would really appreciate that. And because the baby's being born in September, I feel like I need to make it at least one obnoxiously Halloween, like, sweater, you know? And I feel like that would be perfect. It's either that or get a slime green and do the drippy, but I'm gonna do it with the blue as the test run with the black. And then because Patton's in this yarn line, they have a really nice bright red. If I wanted to do the red, it would be with this one. I don't know where I would go to source a 100% wool lime green. Maybe Knit Picks. Knit Picks or Hobby, probably. They have a lot of crazy colors. And then the final 2 things I have in here are actually some yarns that I thrifted. Actually, one of them I might not have thrifted. I might have had, yeah, okay. So this one I had in my stash, and this one I thrifted. So I seem to have misplaced the ball band, but this is the Loops and Threads chunky touch of alpaca, or like alpaca blend. There's alpaca in here. It's mostly acrylic with a bit of alpaca, and it's very fuzzy, and there's like a really pretty halo. And I don't know, whatever I want to do, I want to call at least the gray one alpaca mail, and mail as in M-A-I-L-E, like chainmail. So I don't know what stitch I'm going to use. But for whatever reason, the phrase alpaca mail just sounds great to me. So it's probably going to wind up being the moss/linen stitch crocheted. Probably just a top-down raglan, because I know how to do the math on that. Anyway, and I don't know what I'm doing with the purple at all. Maybe I won't have enough to make a whole sweater out of the gray, and I'll have to dip into the purple for it. Either way, I thought it was a very cute idea. So, oh, and if you watched the most recent Hobie haul, the one with the pride colors and everything, I bought 6 of the Black Friends cotton. I've got them over here. Black cotton. They're a worsted weight, or an 8/8, so a DK light worsted. And I don't think I'm going to use all of the black for the pride tops. I really don't. So whatever is left over of the black and the pride top colors, I'm gonna mix up, make it not look like pride flags, and use for the baby, at least the cotton. I don't know if I'm gonna use the mohair lace fluffy one, just because I feel like that's a little bit much for a brand new baby. Anyway, so yeah, that is it. That's the baby stuff. And I hope you have a super excellent time until the next time we get to sit sit down and chat. See you later, alligator.